PNGTUC says it is neutral.
No plan for any disruptions at all.
Sir Arnold Amet responds to step-down announcement.
There is no constitutional provision.
And public warned against demonstrating.
Heavy police presence monitoring.
This is the National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Monday's news. The Papua New Guinea Trade Union Congress says it will maintain impartiality and will not be taking part in a proposed walk to Parliament tomorrow. Heads of member organizations in the union met today addressing the anticipated walk for tomorrow in a media conference.
On the eve of what is anticipated to be an unpredictable day when Parliament sits tomorrow, the PNGTUC is maintaining their neutrality, distancing itself from taking part in actions that might disrupt services to the general public. In making their stance known, General Secretary Clemens Kanau says tomorrow should be a normal working day for all public servants, regardless of anything that is anticipated to take place, whether before, during or after the sitting.
There won't be any disruptions. Trade union movement and affiliates, trade union congress and affiliates have no plan for any disruptions. We've stated, we're matured, we've come of age, and what will happen tomorrow is, in our view, a process that will test the democracy of this country again. But for disruptions, we have no plan for any disruptions at all. It will be a normal day, another day in Parliament.
Making reference to government's press conference yesterday, Kanau says constitutionally, Peter O'Neill still remains Prime Minister. Therefore, all citizens must maintain their impartiality, refrain from taking sides, but let process take its course on the floor of Parliament and remain hopeful for a peaceful outcome.
So far, we're happy with the transition, or if you like, the developments that are happening. From the Trade Union Congress and our affiliates, we say we are come of age, and those days when we get our people on the streets to allow the due process to take place is gone. We are not about sabotage. We are not about destroying properties, and if you like, to allow what the police do.
Police personnel in the city are also being called upon to maintain and uphold their duties to the citizens of PNG and not to allow politicians dictate to them what they should be doing.
So whatever happens tomorrow, if need be, whatever happens tomorrow, for both public and the leaders, it must not in any way at all be influenced by the behavior of policemen and women. You are duty bound, you and I are duty bound not to take sides. We must never have political affiliations with any political parties at all.
Schools are expected to be open for students to attend classes, but should parents see or feel that things might turn sideways, they are being encouraged to keep their kids at home to avoid instances of opportunists taking advantage of the current state of affairs.
Tomorrow, our children must not be obstructed from going to their classes, and teachers must not be obstructed from attending to teaching duties tomorrow. However, as a responsible union, we'd like to call on all our parents to assess security reasons for our children, and if need be, the parents can help hold back their children and not to allow them to go to schools tomorrow. This has happened before, and security of the children is paramount.
PNGTUC has urged for normalcy to prevail tomorrow and is also appealing to the general public to take heed and be cautious. Anet Kora, National EMTV News.
A deliberate choice of words by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill caught many, including journalists, off guard during an announcement of his intention to step down. While Peter O'Neill said he was going to step down as Prime Minister, he did not use the word resign. And even though he did indicate tendering his resignation, he did so without giving a specific date. This means that on Tuesday, May the 28th, tomorrow, when Parliament sits, Peter O'Neill will still be the Prime Minister, despite a widely publicized announcement.
To
Former Chief Justice Sir Arnold Amet says Peter O'Neill's announcement of his intention to step down has no effect and he is still Prime Minister until Parliament chooses a new person to take over. Sir Arnold, who was watching Sunday's events, said various aspects of the move were legally wrong. Under Section 146 of the Constitution, a Prime Minister's resignation is tendered in writing to the head of state.
That's when a resignation is constitutionally effective, and then the head of state will then advise the Speaker, and Speaker will inform Parliament when it is in session. Then the election of a Prime Minister will take place on the next sitting day.
This means Sir Julius Chan has no legal standing to perform duties as caretaker Prime Minister.
For Sir Julius to become acting Prime Minister at some time, he will firstly have to be appointed a minister, and then only when the Prime Minister is out of the country, not when he tenders his resignation to the head of state, only when the Prime Minister is out of the country, then as Deputy Prime Minister, Sir Julius can become acting Prime Minister. So what needs to happen if this is what is being contemplated is for the Prime Minister firstly to appoint Sir Julius as a minister and then appoint him Deputy Prime Minister, replacing Charles Abel, in order for Sir Julius to become acting Prime Minister, and again only if the Prime Minister is out of the country. So there is no constitutional provision when the Prime Minister tenders his resignation for a Deputy Prime Minister to become acting Prime Minister.
Another sticking point which will possibly see Peter O'Neill hold on to power is the fact that the law does not put a time limit on when he should tender his resignation. While it is the Prime Minister's prerogative to appoint a deputy, Charles Abel has still not been officially decommissioned as Deputy Prime Minister, and Sam Basil has not been sworn in as his replacement. This means Charles Abel is still Deputy Prime Minister until Sam Basil is sworn in by the Governor-General. New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chan says there has been a huge misunderstanding over yesterday's press conference. His comments come after a media frenzy that had some addressing him as acting Prime Minister. Sir Julius said today that he is not acting Prime Minister, although honoured to be considered as the government's alternative when the resignation of the Prime Minister takes place. In a statement, Sir Julius says the Prime Minister has no power to nominate a new Prime Minister of his choice, but what he did on Sunday was to designate Sir Julius as the provisional caretaker of the government coalition. Sir Julius has commended Peter O'Neill for respecting the desires of the people of the country and stepping down, whilst at the same time asking him to help by maintaining order among coalition members, to work with all parliamentary members to make a wise and uniting decision concerning who should become the next Prime Minister. The 79-year-old politician says he has been approached by both factions as a potential candidate for the nation's top job. Sir Julius Chan has been involved in PNG politics since the late 1960s and served as Prime Minister on two occasions, from 1980 to 1982 and from 1994 to 1997. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has gone to the court seeking clarifications on the legal processes in relation to the process for the proposed vote of no confidence. O'Neill filed a Supreme Court application this afternoon, 24 hours before Parliament resumes tomorrow. In a statement, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill says the events in recent weeks has caused a lot of confusion surrounding the constitutional process regarding the withdrawal of a motion of no confidence. The application filed today was to seek legal clarification based on the Constitution, more particularly to seek clarity from the courts on the interpretation of sections 99, 111, 142 and 145 of the Constitution that relate to the process in a motion and vote of no confidence. On May the 7th at around 4:30 p.m, Parliament was adjourned to Tuesday, 28th of May. At 4:45 p.m. that same afternoon, a motion of no confidence in the Prime Minister was submitted to the Office of the Speaker by Opposition Leader Patrick Pruich, seconded by Abau MP Sir Pukatemu. 16 members had signed that notice, with Taripori MP James Marape nominated as the alternative Prime Minister. On May the 20th, the Opposition Leader then wrote to the Acting Speaker of Parliament to withdraw the motion. James Marape then announced that he stepped down as the opposition's nominee for the Prime Minister's seat, leaving the position of alternative Prime Minister open. O'Neill says that in light of this, the urgent application was filed today with the objective to clarify the process involved in the withdrawal of a motion of notice for a vote of no confidence. A date for the hearing for this Supreme Court application is yet to be set. And as Parliament is set to resume tomorrow, the public has been warned against supporting political factions or taking part in demonstrations to Parliament. This warning from Police NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Pero Drano. Drano has urged city residents to adhere to the warning, as police will deal with individuals or groups trying to disturb the peace.
NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Pero Drano says NCD police have not received any requests from individuals or groups for a public walk, procession or gathering in regards to this week's Parliament sitting. Given that, any form of procession or gathering in and around the Parliament precinct would be illegal. Drano is now urging the public not to take part in illegal demonstration and respect parliamentary processes to be exercised without undue influence and interference. He says police officers will deal with anyone attempting to disturb peace during Tuesday's Parliament sitting.
Hence, any public gathering within the city or intended walk with our leaders to the Parliament will not be allowed. If the leaders want to do so, they'll do it themselves. We don't need any supporters to be following.
Parliament will be on lockdown with a heavy police presence of over 1,000 officers to be maintained to ensure peace and good order. City residents are advised to keep clear of Parliament when it is in session.
We are urging all residents to take other routes away from the lockdown area, as police barricades will be set up with heavy police presence monitoring.
Patricia Chiamo, National EMTV News.
Here with National EMTV News, we'll have more of the day's stories when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. There is a need for an extension of health services in Western Highlands province. This was evident in Mulbaya, where what was supposed to be a health expo turned out to be a major health delivery exercise which saw people from across the province turning up to seek medical treatment. Vasinatayama with the details.
People travelled in from as far as Kompiam in Enga province, Tiki Inday electorate and walk distances to Tinsley to see the health expo. The expo by the Western Highlands Provincial Health Authority was staged to celebrate the former Mount Hagen Health Board's 25th anniversary, an event to recognise the board's commitment to improved governance within the health sector to the people of Western Highlands.
Our workforce has been very committed to their duties and responsibilities in ensuring all those who seek our care are attended to and
Some who sought treatment were brought in on wheelbarrows and stretchers, expecting specialist doctors from Mount Hagen General Hospital to be at the expo to provide full medical checks and provide treatment.
There are people in our communities who are not having access to what we are providing out in the cities or in the province, and therefore we have to really come down to where they are and make it accessible to them so they can come to.
District Health Services Manager Albert Du confirmed that despite celebrating the 25th anniversary of strong governance, there is still need to extend healthcare services to rural areas in the province. Mulbaya itself has 17 health facilities. Data collected has shown that 121,326 sick patients sought treatment at these 17 facilities. Many challenges still remain. These include the low health worker to patient ratio. An example is Bukapena Health Center, where 3 staff serves more than 3,000 populations in the Mul area. There is also need for institutional housing to attract health workers to work in rural areas.
For too long, people have had to go all the way to Mount Hagen to get service. We want those services here.
The provincial health mechanisms have identified the common causes of death within Mulbaya. These include illnesses such as malaria and typhoid and diarrhea. Acting Director Clinical Network Jane Holden said the authorities recently launched a strategic plan include programs to rotate clinicians in the rural areas to work in the town hospital to gain knowledge, experience and confidence to treat patients back in rural health centre.
So that they are more competent, better trained, have more support to provide the services locally.
Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The PNG Tourism Promotion Authority says a survey conducted last year has identified law and order and inflated travel and accommodation costs as affecting the decision-making of foreign tourists when considering to visit PNG. Although there was a slight increase in the number of tourists in 2018, most of them did not stay long. Tourists who don't stay longer don't spend any money locally.
Papua New Guinea has seen a change in tourism business in recent years. This is evident as there are more cruise ships visiting the country than before. But what's more deceiving is that not every tourist who arrives in the country stays for a longer period in their preferred destinations. Like in the East Nubitan province in the past 2 years, tourists who came on cruise ships arrive in the morning and leave again in the afternoon. The PNG Tourism Promotion Authority says this can't be happening if the country is serious about looking at tourism as a major revenue driver. For Milne Bay and East Nubitan, the tourism hubs, they have more work to do.
The main objective of encouraging spend in the country is to increase the diversity of products. So we're encouraging local operators to provide a wider range of tourism products that they can offer.
In East Nubitan, its tourism authority is working on turning what was initially considered as a faceless concept into something tangible. According to a survey report compiled by the PNGTPA, there was a noticeable increase in the number of international travelers, but that figure has come from those who have passed through the PNG immigration with their visas.
Generally, there's been an increase in visitor numbers of 7%. So the total arrivals have increased since 2018.
What PNGTPA ideally wants are those who came as tourists to stay, spend money and visit various parts of the country. But first, there is a backlog of problems that need to be fixed. Issues surrounding communication networks, rundown health and road services, building new accommodation infrastructure, attending to law and order issues, and most importantly, addressing the high travel and accommodation costs charged on every foreign visitor.
So it has been an issue, and I think from the Tourism Promotion Authority we encourage and try to be proactive in our marketing campaigns by addressing those by doing more marketing and promotions.
A week-long tourism awareness workshop that was launched today in Kokopo hopes to share information and educate tourist enthusiasts in the province on how to attract tourists and keep them for a longer period. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
The Seasonal Forum, facilitated by PNG National Weather Service, is a platform that aims to integrate information from the Weather Service and Geohazards Management Division into user institutions within the country that exist to fight and advocate climate change. The information provided will only enhance the relevant sectors when it comes time for decision making.
The National Weather Service Director Samuel Maiha said the country needs a refresher in terms of disasters, be it of geological nature or weather and climate. The Seasonal Climate Change Forum provides a platform to gather information from the Weather Service and Geohazards Management Division into user institutions like the Center for Environment Protection, Climate Change and Development Authority, and other relevant sectors within the country for enhanced decision making.
Because they are the experts in their different sectors, like the agriculture and food security. Obviously, the disaster managers need to be prepared themselves from a disaster management standpoint. The El Nino would also affect the fisheries, would affect energy, affect water, just about everybody else. So,
Mr. Maiha mentioned that the early warning system is not up to standard.
So the third objective of the forum is to identify those gaps, and then we can hopefully improve so that we have a fully fledged impact-based forecasting system, not just for the weather and climate, but also for geologic hazards, also for hydrologic like floods.
There is a difference between weather and climate.
There's a difference between the weather and the climate. Weather is the day-to-day report that you get, or like you notice, like rain, sun, it can change. But the climate is periodic. It's a long term.
In the PNG context, with the current extreme weather events the country sees, there is also an increase in frequency.
You have rain in January. Then we have cyclone Fehi, which was in January, December, in Solomon Highlands, and it came all the way to PNG and dissipated in Australia.
When it comes to infrastructural planning, developers must understand the current climate change and weather. Mr. Maiha stressed that people and sectors need to know that the weather affects them.
We had this abnormal flu, that to me was never experienced in the past. And I think the weather has something to do with it.
Lilian Supera Kenea, National, EMTV News.
The Papua New Guinea Correctional Service is creating moves to classify prisons for specialist rehabilitation. Speaking in Kavieng recently, Acting CS Commissioner Stephen Pokanes says this is to improve the status of rehabilitation programs and enhance income opportunities to support jail operations. Mr. Pokanes says this will be trialled in New Ireland as preparations begin to move the provincial CS facility to Kaut outside of Kavieng.
Speaking to MTV News in Kavieng, the Acting CS Commissioner says the institution aims to modify rehabilitation programs, especially in agriculture, woodworks, machinery and literacy. Talks over the past 10 years has paved way for some CS prisons around the country to be specialized in agriculture projects. Pokane says CS is now embracing this change.
One bla big bla area ba mi bla lulungan em long classify em house kalabos. One em house kalabos mi concentrate as long farm. One em house kalabos mi concentrate as long Tibet. One em house kalabos mi concentrate as long woodwork. One em house kalabos mi concentrate so long education and training.
The past 5 years has seen more allegations leveled against the management of CS institutions around the country. Jailbreaks, poor living conditions and housing woes for its staff are just some issues faced by most of CS prisons. Commander Pokane says another reason for the classification initiative is to generate income for its CS Institute.
Na money to emisort, so mi play try lo rationalize him, classify him, categorize him all institutions so that all specialized area, mi play can provide him silakan training. Number 2, all officers play me too, all can become more specialized.
New Ireland will be one of the provinces to implement the classification process under the new CS rehabilitation plan. Recently, the Acting CS Commissioner and other law and justice officers visited Kaut outside Kavieng town.
Na mi look him too, he got opportunity stop. Na mi time mi talk mi not talk long by mi play laram ting dasol no. Bam play mas make him na karam kai. Opportunity stop long. Mi play kondo ikolong massive agriculture farming.
Barawagi and Simbu, Lakimata and Kimbe, and Biute and Eastern Highlands are some CS facilities where the classification project will be carried out as well. Jack Lapava Jr., National MTV News.
Information technology education in secondary schools is lacking in the country, especially in rural areas. This is according to DayTech Learning Centre's General Manager, Ravi Chandran. Mr. Chandran said technology is fast evolving and teachers and students need to be equipped with the necessary knowledge. DayTech Learning Centre has come on board by providing free basic IT training to teachers and students since last year in over 20 schools in NCD and Central Province. They've planned to extend the program to rural schools in Morbe Province.
Your data. DayTech Learning Centre's General Manager Training and Education Ravi Chandra said they've evaluated the students, especially from rural areas, and noticed that a lot of students have no access to computers. The students don't have proper IT education or are not trained well in secondary schools. DayTech Learning Centre then rolled out free IT training to teachers from over 20 schools in NCD and Central Province last year.
As a corporate social responsibility, we need to help others. Then when we went to each and every school, we discussed and we brought some IT teachers from secondary school, high schools, and we provided trainings for them last year. The same thing this year we are planning to expand to throughout the country. We are working on that one. It will take another 1 or 2 or 3 years, and after that you can find tremendous growth in the country, IT education.
DayTech Learning Centre was established in 2009 and has been providing ICT training and education in PNG. The DayTech Learning Centre at University of Technology in Lae is one of the programs that has introduced a research and development arm to focus on student research. It is one of the first in the country and is offering training in corporate, academic and professional development for those who have completed grade 12 education or professionals in industries.
Where DayTech Learning Centre comes in, we have a vision because we see that Papua New Guinea, with regards to technology, has still a long way to go. And while the rest of the world is already miles apart. And in doing so, we've identified our vision, and that is to bridge that gap and to bring in the technology, the products that are required to ensure that students' skills are brought on par.
The DayTech Learning Centre has partnered with the University of Technology for more than 10 years in providing their ICT services and have graduated more than 800 students from Unitech. Today, DayTech presented a check worth more than 460,000 kina to Unitech to continue their program in the university. Unitech's Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ora Renagi, says they have plans to build DayTech's curriculum in the university's degree courses, such as computer science.
So I've been talking to Ravi now, and we have to communicate and see the curriculum that is required to get a degree. And at the university, we need our lecturers and academics to get their masters and PhDs as well.
Julie Badui Owa, National MTV News, Lae.
You're watching National MTV News. We'll take a look at stories making headlines overseas when we come back. Welcome back to National MTV News. Turning overseas now, the US president's racking up a number of firsts as Japan pulls out all the stops to court his favor. But despite past efforts to flatter him, Donald Trump's been battling away Tokyo's chief concern, North Korea.
Pomp and pageantry as Japan staged a spectacle for America's showman president. Donald Trump this afternoon becoming the first foreign leader to meet with the country's new emperor and empress, but very much given his own stage at the Imperial Palace. This is a country courting an ally it fears is no longer as committed to them as they'd like.
Our relationship, I think I can speak from the standpoint of the United States, has never been better than it is right now.
Mr. Trump and Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe are wrestling over trade and North Korea. Those diplomatic battles put aside as the pair attended a sumo match, tradition taking a back seat as well. spectators are supposed to sit in cushions on the floor, not on armchairs. And afterwards,
I hereby award you the United States President's Cup.
all eyes on Mr. Trump again. This the first time a foreign leader's been allowed to walk into the hallowed sumo ring and present a special prize. But amidst the attempts at flattery and appearances of friendship, hints at Japan's fears. They're worried about the president's unconventional relationship with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un.
I personally think that lots of good things will come with North Korea. I feel that. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I feel that. We've come a long way.
Earlier this month, North Korea test-fired a new short-range missile into the Sea of Japan. Yesterday, the US president downplayed it, tweeting that they were some small weapons and that it didn't disturb him. Not exactly music to Japan's ears, as it tries to underscore its ties to an important strategic ally.
Thousands visit each year, but soon there might not be much left to see. One of the world's natural wonders is under serious threat. The Dead Sea is dying up, with some predicting it could be reduced to just a tiny pool within 30 years. It's having a big impact on locals.
Beneath the tranquil opal blue waters of this enormous salt lake, an ecological and demographic disaster is unfolding. The Dead Sea is slowly disappearing.
The Dead Sea loses the equivalent of 600 Olympic swimming pools every day.
Currently covering 605 square kilometres, each year the water level drops between 1.2 and 1.5 metres. The result? A dramatically transformed shoreline. Locals call these the summer steps.
And you can simply count them. You can count the years and see where the sea was. Every step it's a year.
Famous for being so dense with salt and minerals you can float on top of it, the Dead Sea feels as magical as it looks. But evaporation, the diversion of water sources and mineral extraction factories are slowly spoiling this natural wonder. This was once a beachfront resort.
You can see those palms here. They were planted in the early 80s at the waterfront of this tourist site. And you can see where the waterfront is now. It's a few good kilometers away.
These days, a club car ferries visitors from the resort to the shoreline through a treacherous expanse of dirt and dust peppered with sinkholes, a deadly phenomenon which has plagued kilometres of waterfront real estate, impacting tourism, infrastructure and agriculture.
How do you produce food when your whole plantation or field can collapse?
It looks like somebody bombed this area. It's not a very nice view that you want to see when you're on vacation.
What's the answer? What's the solution?
The solution to bring more water to the Dead Sea.
Not as simple as it sounds. Bordered by Jordan to the east, Israel and the West Bank to the west, Syria to the north and to the south, Egypt, agreeing on a way forward is a geopolitical minefield. One solution is a planned pipeline pumping water from the Red Sea to the south of here, desalinating it to provide fresh drinking water for communities in Jordan to the east, and then spitting the brine from that process into the Dead Sea to boost the water level. But that project relies on a lot of cooperation in a heavily divided region. The multi-billion-dollar project has been debated for years with no solid agreement. For locals like Jackie Ben-Zaken who rely on tourism, the lack of action is devastating. A unique ancient pilgrimage site reduced to a tiny pool of salt.
Now, what if you could confront your worst fears or even train for a natural disaster, all from the comfort of your own living room? Well, that is a step closer thanks to a new investment in virtual reality technology. More than $7 million has been poured into Canterbury University to boost immersive gaming research.
Whether it helps someone face their fear of spiders,
This allows me to pick up these spiders and they will crawl on my arm.
or helps firefighters learn how to be better prepared to tackle the Port Hills blaze.
As they're flying, they feel a tuk 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 tuk.
Professor Rob Lindeman says immersive gaming is the future of learning.
The idea is to really make the person feel like they're in the space and that the things are actually happening to them. The problem is keeping them on task or making it interesting for them to spend more time doing the thing that we want them to do. And it's been shown that more time on task leads to better mastery of things.
The team here believes this technology could help engage students in school, get people exercising, or even encourage smokers to quit. And now, thanks to more than $7.5 million of fresh investment, 3 of the world's top gaming academics will come to New Zealand and help support their work.
So they're used to spinning off game companies, starting game companies, working really closely with industries in order to take, let's say, the projects that are developed by a student team, polish them up, and then help connect them with some pathway to getting them to market.
The extra funding is from the government and the university itself, the plan to help attract and retain keen minds.
We have a huge shortage in our industry, and the more we can get talented individuals trained, the better it's going to be for all of us as we grow.
Talented individuals like Henrik Engelbrecht who see real potential in the industry.
For me, this was a great opportunity, so I made it halfway around the world for that.
Another step forward for an emerging industry.
Yeah, with Monday's news, stay tuned. We'll have some sporting updates when we come back in Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. To the SP Sports Awards and in the Junior Male and Female Awards category, and against Alice Squire of basketball and Rema Kalate of swimming, it was Violet Apisa that took hold of the Junior Female Athlete of the Year category. In the male category, having been nominated 3 times in the past, Jeffrey Loy finally grabbed a hold of the Male Junior Athlete of the Year award, which was received by his father, Rea Loy.
As PNG Olympic Committee gets to recognize new and upcoming talents as well as elite athletes, Year In, Year Out SP Sports Awards is a platform used to recognize all athletes for their hard work in representing PNG on the international stage. This year's award for the Young Male and Female Sports Awards saw young nominees who are also representing PNG at an international arena. A brother-sister duo for the Young Male and Female Award category, Leonard and Rehema Kalate missed out on last night's award, which were taken by Jeffrey Loy for the Junior Male Athlete of the Year, where his dad, Rea Loy, was present to receive the award.
I would express my sentiments about being a winner tonight, especially on behalf of Jeffrey, and also this is his first winner after the fourth time nomination for this Junior Male Athlete of the Year, and this is his last.
While in the female category for Junior Female Athlete, Violet Apisa was announced winner. Grandmother and mentor Verenagi Tere was at hand to receive the award on behalf of Violet.
She's training very hard for the SP Games this year, Pacific Games this year, so hopefully she's in the team anyway, so it's great.
In other categories, Simon Keslep took out the Sports Photo of the Year award, Rarua Dikana won the Sports Official award, Stephen Abraham took the Best Sportsperson with Disability award, Community Sports Initiative award was taken by the Backyard Sports. Alota won the 15 basketball team, took home the National Performance award, and Sports Media Award was given to Jack Ami from the National. Meanwhile, the People's Choice Award and by public vote was given to
the Malio's mix for People's Choice Awards. I was really surprised.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
The cricket and the PNG Hebo Barramundis have qualified for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup qualifier. They will be travelling to Dubai later this year for the second qualifiers.
The Barramundis are ranked number 1 in the East Asia Pacific region. The team has been training almost every day since the beginning of the year in preparation for the ICC T20 Men's World Cup qualifiers in Dubai.
We apologize for the audio quality in that story there. We go for a break and be back with more of Trukai Sports after these messages.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To weightlifting, and weightlifting gold medalist Stephen Curry is hoping to defend his Pacific Games title this year. If Curry successfully defends his title in Samoa, this will be his third Pacific Games gold medal.
Upon receiving the Male Athlete of the Year award at the SP Sports Awards, the ever-confident Stephen Curry says he's ready to defend his title at the upcoming Pacific Games. The two-time gold medalist has been hard at training and says, though it will be difficult, he's confident he can be the Games three-time champion.
I want to make it 3 times South Pacific gold medal. So it's not easy, it's not hard. Lifters gonna come up and they're neck and neck now, right now. So it's gonna be very, very tough, but I gotta give everything to win gold.
Stephen has been training under coaches Douglas Mayer and Paul Coffer. Both have played major roles in his success over the years. Curry is determined to be one of the best weightlifters in his category. He hopes to be an inspiration to many young people in the country who wish to take up the sport of weightlifting.
Give inspiration to the kids to follow their dreams, even though they're not good in school, but they're good in something else. So that's the message that I'm giving down to the kids. So be hard, be strong, be brave, and believe in yourself that you're worth it.
Curry will be attending this year's Pacific Games in Samoa to defend his gold medal against other top lifters in the Pacific region. Elijah Levet, National, EMTV Sports.
The mini and modified rugby league rules and targets children between the ages of 7 to 12 years. The game is designed to be non-competitive and promotes respectful behavior in a safe playing environment whilst enhancing their basic skills and knowledge on the popular sport. Children in Port Moresby are taking part in an 8-week competition, and EMTV Sports was out and about to catch up with the children.
Rugby league is the most popular sport in Papua New Guinea, and here at the University of Papua New Guinea Vice-Chancellor's Oval, these children aged between 7 and 12 are breaking barriers. They are part of the mini mod, the mini and modified version of rugby league run by the National Rugby League in Papua New Guinea. Simple skills like passing, playing the ball and tackling, often taken for granted, are the basics of the mini mod concept. And rugby league in general. Parent and volunteer Paul Pascal is very happy about the concept.
All the parents, stakeholders to come and be part of it for the development of the game. Because it's fairly new concept. A lot of kids are getting into the basic rules, and I don't see that happening at this current moment that we see from our game.
Not only Paul, but former Kumul Richard Wagambi, who was at the field, commended the concept.
When you plant a tree and you nurture it, it's going to grow and blossom. Just like this, the younger children here, when we impart certain skills to them, certain drills, it'll stick in their head, and as they continue on their process of playing rugby league, they will get better at it because they've started at a younger age.
The children are mixed with both boys and girls playing in one team. The game progresses well, but the referee always stopping play to explain a few of the rules that they need to follow. Okay, I'm here with students from Waigani Elementary and Primary Schools. What's your name?
Nikaino.
Sorry?
Nikaino.
Nikaino, you enjoying yourself playing rugby league?
Yes.
What have you learned so far with the mini mode?
I have learned how to pass, how to kick, how to dummy. I've learned a lot out of rugby.
Play well with your teammates?
Yes, I have improved a little with my mates. We've played very well so far, and even though we lose, we win. No matter what, we still play as long as we're playing for fun to learn new moves.
Okay. And what's your name?
My name is Matilda.
Okay, what grade are you in?
I'm in grade 6.
So far, their skills are slowly improving, and this week they were learning how to tackle the proper way.
Okay, grab him with the ball, hold him on the ball, put your head, go inside. Okay, slip him and go down. Slip him and go down. Slip on the plan. Now counting 1, 2, 3.
But it is important to note that only Port Moresby is piloting the concept.
The kids coming from as far as 8 Mile from Kaugere, if we can start off here and then carry it open into the zones at the electorates. So we got kids from Northwest, they play here. Kids from the South, they play down at Kaugere.
It's the third week of competition, and so far the skills are slowly improving, from play the ball to passing and general teamwork. Frelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
And that wraps up True Kai Sports for this evening. Up next, a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Fine weather in Daru, Alatau and Popondetta. A shower or two expected in Port Moresby and Kerema. To the Momasa region, mostly fine in Wau, fine weather in Medang and Vanimo, cloudy in Wewak, and fine becoming cloudy for Lae. To the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe can expect fine weather, showers over the next 24 hours in Buka. And in the Highlands region, all the major centres, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundia, Mendi and Moabig can all expect fine weather over the next 24 hours.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that's our news, sport and weather for today, Monday the 27th of May 2019. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, present viewing, good night.